Well, good morning, y'all, and welcome back to Apron Strings. If this is your first time, I'm sure glad to have you here. Hope you'll come back real often. There's 699 videos behind me that you can look at. For all of my regular ones, welcome back to the kitchen. Today I'm part of a collaboration that's put on by Tony. Now listen down below in the More area. There's going to be a list of everybody that's in this collaboration for March of Pies. So you can go visit their website or their YouTube channel and get a new recipe, maybe new to you, or watch some that you already make. But I'm sure you'll find something to add to your recipe drawer that you don't already have. I've got the onions sizzling. I'm going to kind of make a little more room right here and get my pie crust in my pan. And I'll be back in just a little bit and we'll finish assembling our pie. Okay, my onions are caramelized enough for me, and we're fixing to get the tomatoes seasoned and dipped in the flour. Okay, you want to pat your tomatoes with some paper towel to get as much of that fluid that the salt has pulled out of them off, because you don't want a soggy crust on your pie. Now, the purpose of the flour, it does absorb a lot of the liquid, but I like to get as much of it off as I can, and some of that excess salt, so your dish won't be so salty. Okay. Now, what I have here is a teaspoon of garlic powder and 3 teaspoons of onion powder. I kind of do a 3-to-1 ratio when I'm doing onion and garlic powder like this, and I'm just going to season my tomatoes with it. I'm not salting them because they already have enough salt on them. And you're going to have cheese in the topping that you put on it, and cheese is salty, so that should be sufficient. Now what you're going to do is just take each one of them. I'm going to get another thing to lay them on. Make sure it's dry, because I don't want to put them back over there where it's already wet and soggy. That makes a little bit of sense, doesn't it? Okay, I'm just going to take each one of them and dip them in the flour and put them back on another pan. That's rocket science, isn't it? Y'all, this pie is so good. And when you say tomato pie, people say, ugh. But it's savory. You're not trying to make a dessert pie out of this. This is a good dish to have at a family gathering for something that'll shine. It's a good dish to have for brunch if you have a friend coming over and you want to just have something light but eye-catching and good. A tomato pie and a salad is perfect. So have your own little tea party with a tomato pie. I went to a little restaurant in Pennsylvania. Some friends and I went on a little trip one time, and the name of it was the tomato pie. And let me tell you, it wasn't as good as this one, but it was good. And I introduced my friends to tomato pie that day, and they loved it. So they said, "You've been making this all this time and you hadn't told us about it." Well, I got this recipe from a friend of mine from San Antonio, Debbie LaGrone, and we had been to a sewing thing in Arlington, Texas, a sewing school retreat, whatever you want to call it, held by Martha Pullen and her company, and she got to tell me about tomato pie. Well, she couldn't believe I never had heard of it. So she gave me her recipe, and immediately when I got back home, I got my little stuffs together and I made me a tomato pie, and we've been eating them ever since. And that was probably 20 years ago. So this is a tried and true recipe. A lot of times tried and totally true. Y'all, I got spring fever. I got to get this video made so I can get out in the garden. I got stuff already growing. I'm so excited. Some from seeds, some from plants that I purchased. But I'm going to have vegetables to can this summer. I do a lot of canning, do a lot of talking. So there's a little variety already. Man, I got goop on my hands, and that ain't something I want. I'm gonna wipe it on this tomato thing here and get it scooped off into the trash. Clean up a little bit and then we'll start putting it together. Ready, set, go. You start by laying some tomatoes in the bottom of your crust. Just lay them around. And I'm going to make 2 or 3 layers, however much my tomatoes hold up for. And I like to sprinkle just a tad of cheese because that helps to bind it all together when it melts in there. Now I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of bacon. And I fried it crisp and cut it up with my little scissors. And a few green onion tops. Can y'all imagine the flavor that this is going to have? Oh my goodness. Now I'm going to get my skillet and get me a little bit of this caramelized onion out. And I'm just going to sprinkle it around in here. Yum, yum. I like to caramelize onions if I'm making, my grandkids like for me to put meat in their grilled cheese. And I have a video where I made a grilled cheese and put caramelized onions on it. Well, then they want it every time now. So that's what happens when you do something good. I'm going to put a little bit more cheese to bind it. You do not have to add all this cheese. I'm telling you, it just helps it. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of roasted garlic powder. I always do onion and garlic powder, y'all know that. But I've got onion powder in this seasoning, so I'm not going to put any onion powder on top of this. Okay, now I'm ready to layer again. Going to a party at the church tonight for our group. It's called Keenagers, and it's potluck. So guess what I'm going to take? I'm going to take this tomato pie. I can do a little bit another layer. Okay, let me put a little bit of bacon. Bacon and garlic. Can't hardly get too much of that. A little bit of cheese. See, I'm not putting a lot of cheese, just enough that when it melts, it'll kind of goop it together. And I'm going to put some green onions. More of these caramelized onions in there. Maybe the rest of them. Sprinkle them around where everybody will get a bite in their piece when we cut it. I'll just go ahead and use the rest of them here. And that was a great big sweet onion. So that's going to give it tremendous flavor. Okay, y'all, I'm going to put, let me rinse my hands off, and I'm going to put on top of that some of that onion and garlic powder seasoning that I've mixed up here. So it'll be flavorful. Then I'm going to put this last little bit of tomatoes, and I'm not going to have enough to go all the way around, but it'll still slice like a pie and have everything good on the top. A few more of the green onions, a little bit more bacon up here. And then I've got some chives here that I'm going to clip, and I grew these too out in the garden. I just love it when I go out there and get what I need. So I'll just clip some of them around on the top for flavor. You can't get too many layers of flavor. I like to get a bite of something and say, what was that? That sure tasted good. That's probably enough. I'll put them in the bowl and use them for a salad or something later. Okay, now we're going to mix up our topping. You need 2 cups of shredded cheese. What a mess I've made. 2 cups of cheese and 1 cup of mayonnaise. And if it matters, I prefer Hellmann's or Duke's. This one is Hellmann's. And that's 2 cups of Kobe Jack cheese. You can use whatever you want to use. And this is not salty, but it's flavorful. Remember, I didn't put any salt in my little mix there. This is our meringue. I'm not going to make a video without reminding y'all to buy you a little bit of extra stuff at the store. You don't know what the tariffs and all that's going on in our world, what kind of effect it's going to have on availability or price. So buy what your family uses and wants you to have in the pantry and will be expecting. Don't buy a bunch of frivolous stuff that you buy once in a blue moon. Make your purchases count, but be wise. We never know. When we have a weather issue or whatever here, I don't have to worry about anything. I am prepared. It's not like I have a store, but I have the stuff ahead that I enjoy using. So y'all need to do the same thing. Just think about it. I know people's money's limited. Everybody can't afford to buy a lot of stuff ahead. Get you some extra beans and rice and your seasoning. Have your salt and pepper and onion and garlic powder. Have some seasoning where you can make stuff taste good. I'm going to put some black pepper on the top. I have a link down below for the pepper grinder and a few more things that I use all the time from Amazon if you're interested. Okay, now how you put the meringue on just like you do on the pie. You just put it on the top. And spread it around all the way out to the edges. Because you want to seal it in there. Back when I started my YouTube channel, and I'm not proficient in the computer world right now, but the first video I ever made was a tomato pie. So if you go back to number 1, it was a tomato pie. Okay, y'all, I'm going to put a little bit of my seasoning on the top. I'm going to get this in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes, and I'll be back and show y'all what it looks like. When it cools enough, I'll cut it and show you what the inside looks like. Okay, y'all, I got it out of the oven, and I'm just going to let it cool until I can cut it without it, coming apart. You want it to cool some, so I'll be back in a little bit and show y'all what it looks like. Cut the pie, and I wanted to show y'all what the layer looks like. It's very, very good. Well, one more pie made. I hope if y'all have never had a tomato pie, you will try it. And if you've had one before, try this recipe and see if you like it as good or better. It's not that hard to make. It's just a little bit involved getting your stuff together. And I wanted to tell you all that you need to comment on the video because there's going to be drawings for gifts from this collaboration. But to be entered, you have to comment. So go back and watch the other videos from the collaboration and comment, and that'll give you more opportunities for your name to be drawn for the giveaways. Y'all have a blessed weekend. The good Lord bless and keep you, and please come back and visit my channel again often. I have some more videos coming up this next week. I'll see y'all then.